Having the desire to expand your childcare business is always a great thing, especially in areas where quality childcare is needed. But being prepared for the expansion is the most important part. So today, we will talk about the things you need to think about before you expand and how to set a solid foundation for your expansion. My name is Tiffany Johnson, and welcome to the second season of the Tier Childcare Podcast. After being in childcare for many years and having my own successful business, I wanted to show you what it takes to be top tier. Today we have our co-host joining us, Miss Latoya Williams.
Hello.
All right. So when do you feel like it's a good time to expand?
When you notice that there's a need in your community, your county, wherever you are, there's always a need for growth. They're always developing different housing communities and different things like that. So with housing communities comes families. Mm-hmm. So it's always a good thing to look and evaluate where you are, your community, and see where the growth is.
Mm-hmm. And I also think too, not just about the community, because of course they're building up all over the place. Over. In a minute, we're not going to have any trees outside because they're knocking everything down and building new communities, which also tells us that we are expanding. People are moving to the area or any area that anyone may be in. But I know for sure one thing that will give you a telltale sign is if your building is always at capacity.
Yeah.
That's one thing that we had to deal with at one of the centers, because it's like we're always at capacity.
Yeah.
And we are continuing to get calls and people on waiting lists, which tells you that you most of the time, or one or two things, you're in a really, really good location where childcare is needed, and or your program is really, really good to the point where people are really, really needing or wanting to be in your facility because you offer something that no one else can or no one else does offer in the area. Right. So I think that's another good way, when it's time to expand. So what things you think people should consider before they decide to expand?
Costs. Whether or not you have enough staff, who's going to run it, are you going to end up being the main person in it? And then when you are the main person starting it off, guess what? That's going to load to your plate, add to your plate. So those are some things I know that comes to me firsthand that gives me anxiety. Anytime you say, Toya, I see a building, or come with me, I'll be like, oh my God, we don't have teachers. We're going to be stuck in the building, which we don't mind, but it kind of cause chaos because we still have to make sure the facilities we have are up and running, but we also have to be the spearhead of that current one that we're opening.
So I know that's why, to me, I realized very, very quickly when we started to when we went to the second location, we were pretty solid.
Yeah.
We were pretty solid. But I also realized how important it was for the foundation to be there. I'm talking about the small things that you may not think about when it comes down to expanding. Enrollment packets. Do I have enough? Do I already have them printed? Do I already have the things that the state will require for me to be in this facility? So a lot of the things that when we went into the building, it was like a quick turnaround, honestly. Probably one of the quickest turnarounds that we have ever had in expanding, because we were already prepared for it. We had already set money aside. We had already came up with the budget. We had already knew that we still wanted to be in a smaller facility. We was not ready for a larger facility just yet. So we knew that, and also we had extra furniture.
Right.
So that really really saved us a lot, because as you know, the first location was getting new furniture. We saved the old furniture, so it was just easier for us to really go into it, and just because all I did really was all the old stuff that was at the previous location, I took everything and piled it right to our second location. And of course with a few new things, because it wasn't anything that was tore up or anything like that. But it was just, hey, let's take the old.
Smart move.
Yeah, because a lot of this is one thing that I've realized that people think when you open up a new facility, you do not have to use all new things. I don't believe, except for the third location that we have, that's the only location I can say that we opened with everything in it brand new. And it was because we had already used everything in our second location. And that location is our biggest location. So we had to purchase every single thing brand new, but that hits your budget hard when you have to, buy all new things. Because typically what they say is the rule of thumb would be, spend between $10,000 and $15,000 per classroom. Now, I never do that. Because I know how to cut corners and still make sure everything is effective. But at the end, those are the things that you have to think about, the whole foundation of it. Is it the center or the director and staff that I have at my first location, are they solid enough?
Right.
Do they come to work? Do they come to work on time? Do I have a lot of parent complaints? Do they have extra things that I can use in another location? Those are the things that I think that people need to set up first. And what I do too, even in our third location, when somebody had a sale. It might have been Amazon because I'm an Amazon girl sometimes.
It probably was. It probably was.
They had a sale on a lot of their childcare furniture, toys, and I got it all delivered to our third location. And y'all was like, "What is going?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just bought it because it was on sale,
right? And
I know we got something coming up next, and we were able to use those things, in our fourth location. So now our fourth location has a lot of
we didn't have to really have
to come out of pocket with anything, not much. I ain't gonna say anything. We did have to come out of pocket.
Like we had to buy new cribs because that's stuff. Some things you can't move out because they're utilizing it. But for the most part, when you think about it, we did not do as much.
Because I think over there, so I know for sure, like the tables and chairs we already had. I think we had a housekeeping set that was already
Some
that
shelves.
we already had. Yeah, so a lot of things we already had. Yes, we did. Like you said, the cribs, we did buy a few things. I think like the changing table
and decor and stuff like that.
Yeah, matter of fact, we didn't even have to buy decor because all the decor. Because you know how I go.
I don't even want to think about it.
I'm always shopping, and the schools are always, rotating different decor all the time. So I never threw that stuff away. So when it was time to go to that fourth location, everything that's on the walls was on the walls at another location.
Or at your house.
Or at home, yeah. She ain't telling no stories because I would definitely flip my house upside down with a new color every chance I get, especially if it's a good sale going on. So yes, between the things that's at home and at other locations, like we have enough. Even recently, like to decorate two of our new clients' buildings, we were able to take a lot of that stuff and give it to them and say, hey, let's decorate your building because we have so much stuff. And don't ever, I'm not going to say be a hoarder. Don't be a hoarder because I don't like being a hoarder. But if you have things that you just are not using at the moment and you're thinking about expanding, put it to the side. Yeah. Don't throw it away. We have several pictures and just different decor that we was able to use that when we put it together, it looked like it was brand new, but it wasn't because we pieced together so many things. But always keep those things, in mind if you are, even if you're not thinking about expanding, because I didn't think that we were going to expand as fast as we did. Don't give me that look. I didn't think we was going to expand as fast as we did, but we went from 1 to 4. I feel like overnight. It was definitely within 2 years. Yeah, we went from 1 to 4 very, very quickly.
Absolutely.
So, but I did tell you guys I was giving you guys a break.
I don't believe him. I'm not gonna hold my breath.
I'm giving you guys a break because 2025.
What time is it? We're gonna put that on. We're gonna stamp that right there.
2025, y'all hear me. 2025, SBS will not be opening up another facility. We will not. But now 2026, I can't hold you. I can't make no promises.
I love you, sis. But I know how you go when you see the opportunity. And that's only because you have created a foundation and because we have learned so much that we're able to, you'll be like, Toya, where you at? You come ride. Like we know where to start. We know what to do. We know what to pull. Or some teachers, hey, I need you to come over here and train our new teachers. Like so, because we have moved, I don't want to say so fast, we have gained knowledge in that time. And so I'm going to tell you, it's much easier now when you say, I'll be like, okay, we can do it. I'm not going to panic as much because I think back to, okay, we can pull this resource. We can pull this. We can pull these stuff. We can recycle. We already have teachers asking, hey, can I change my room around? So we just move it around. Not saying that we're giving the newer location old stuff, but we know it's good stuff and it worked.
And
the
sometimes
systems work.
we give a little bit of good, a little bit of old, a little bit of new.
And nobody would tell.
Nobody don't have a clue.
And have a clue.
That we
and half of the time we be like, where this come from? Yeah, we bought that.
Because we didn't bought it so long ago, or it's stuffed down somewhere in storage, and we didn't realize that we had it. But use those things. Do not throw your old things away, because at some point in time, you may go back to it, you know, and use it again, because you get new teachers, or like I said, or hey, I forgot I had this 3 years ago and I haven't used it in a long time, so I'm able to use it now, because who's going to remember that this was up 3 years ago? A chance of that is slim to none, because I can't remember what I put up last year, talking about 3 years ago. So I think that, you know, that's definitely something that they need to take into consideration, or just consider before they expand. And also just on the business owner side of it, just making sure that you don't need to use a different source for your taxes, because again, when you start bringing in bigger dollars, it does require a little bit more, you know, for you to pull and push on somebody different, as you are expanding, unless you're just fluent in the area. I wasn't fluent, and I'm still not fluent in the area. I have a good team. I love y'all to death. But it's a lot of things that I don't have to take care of anymore, that I know it will continue to allow us to grow. And the team is setting us up to grow. So that's another thing that you guys can consider as well. And just making sure that you have a good, solid team that, listen, if you have to be out, or if you have to, you know, put the rubber to the road, you have someone that can back you up and make sure that they are still running your first location as if you were still in the building. Yeah.
And I've learned this over the past years, just watching you. You can't expand if you as the owner are stuck in that one location. You are going to have to get people that you can trust and who's going to run the ship when you're not there. Because if you're looking to grow, how can you grow the business if you're in the business, if that makes sense? Like if you're stuck in the business.
Because I tell people all the time, especially our clients, you cannot, and at some point you do need to be in the business, because you need to make sure that that's when you set up the foundation, because you're trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. But once you set that final, I ain't gonna say final foundation, because sometimes along the way as you grow, you do tweak things along the way. But set your solid foundation, your basic foundation first, and make sure that works. Your job as a CEO or the founder or the owner of that facility is for you to be the brains of the operation, because you can expand and grow if you're not thinking. Right. So if you're thinking about you driving a bus, about you cooking, about you hiring a teacher, or if you were trying to train someone, at some point you're going to have to delegate. Right. You're going to have to find the right person on the bus to get things done effectively and know the vision and mission that you have for your company, so they can be another you when you're outside of the location, because you cannot expand if you don't have the brains. You have to think about what you have going on, so you can get your company to the next level. One thing that I've always, I think one thing that pushed me to continue to grow is because everyone that's around me or that's in the company, they want to grow. Yeah. And most of the people that we have working for us wants to grow. So for me, they want to do more. And in my job as the CEO is to create opportunities for them to continue to grow, you know. But if I'm stagnant and I kept the one location, it ain't but so much I can do, because ain't but so much I can raise tuition for in certain areas. So if you want to make $25 an hour, you can't make 20. Everybody in the building can't make $25 an hour if we still stay stuck in this one location. That's not possible. But according to what you want, because we have had teachers that desire to be directors or assistant directors, or we still have some that still desire to be in our main office, which at some point I have to continue to expand, and I have to continue to work hard because I have everyone else in the back of my mind. Because, listen, I just told Facebook last week, I spent $27 on eggs. I need a raise.
Right. Absolutely.
So as things are going up, like, it requires more money, but for us to allow people to make more, we have to expand. We have to do more. So that's what's always at the forefront of my mind is, okay, we have to expand because I know I have people that's counting on me for them to be able to sit in a different seat. And sometimes, like, I love being in the center. I enjoyed being a 3-year-old teacher. I enjoyed being assistant director. I enjoyed being a director. I have enjoyed every seat that I have held in childcare, but I have outgrown those seats.
Yeah.
And I have to be honest with myself and say I have outgrown that. So imagine if I have outgrown those seats, everyone else that's in the business at some point. Now, some people are okay with being a 4K teacher, and they're okay with that. I'm okay if you're okay.
I tell you anytime I go back in the classroom.
And I tell her absolutely not, because she's my backbone all day long. But, some people have really love being in that space, and it's okay because everyone, everybody can't be a root, everybody can't be a branch, everybody can't be a leaf, everybody can't be the trunk of the tree. So everyone has their own part, a member of the body that needs to work together. So it's okay if you want to be a teacher forever or a director forever, whatever you're comfortable with. But we do have people that desire to have more. So it requires me to as a leader, it requires me to push for more so everyone can have what they desire.
And what I was thinking was expansion doesn't necessarily have to mean like another location. You can go from your teacher doing diddle sheets to actually seeking out a different curriculum. And that's just showing your parents, hey, we are adding something to our program. We want it to be a little bit better. Here, this is what we're doing. And that's always another way you can raise tuition, because you have to provide those materials that they need to expand this new curriculum. So you can tack on a little $5-10 and you're giving them something. You can expand on going into the food program to offer healthier choices for your families. So it always doesn't have to be getting a new location. It can just be growing yourself and your business and your preschool within.
Yeah, that's a good point, because a lot of times child care centers, they do get stuck in how they were when they first opened.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, this is how it was when I first opened, so what's next? Or how do I make it look more? Or how do I make it look better? Or how do I, enhance what I already have? And it's always ways to enhance. Even with us, we still enhance things, because we realized very quickly last year, we need a curriculum specialist.
Yeah.
Because we are dropping the ball in certain areas, in certain classrooms, because the teachers are not fluent, and we are not able to train them or go in ourselves and say, hey, we're going to walk you through this, or hey, let me help you with this lesson plan. So just adding an extra body to take some weight off of you, which really was an expansion for us as well, because we had to add another member into the main office to help us overall with the education. We're the safety and the education of the children is our priority.
Right.
So if we're making sure that we provide a safe environment, I also want parents to know that their child is enhancing and growing. Because my goal was to say, hey, listen, when that child goes to public school, I want the teachers to be able to ask the parents and the students, where you went to school at?
Oh, okay. Y'all know something.
Okay, all right. I might have to, send some people over there.
Yeah.
They doing a really good job over there. That's what I want. I don't want us to blend in to be just another childcare facility. I want us to be a quality childcare facility where our children can be out and go out into the world, go out into public school, and they know something. So that was a good idea with expanding. It didn't have to necessarily be a building, but just inside of your facility, or what you can do to have more. One thing I do want to mention too is always stay in interview mode. That is a thing that you have to do. You always have to stay in interview mode, because that's the only way that that's the only way your foundation won't get rocky.
Right.
That's where the budget comes in. At some point, we'll talk about that at another time. But, you always have to stay in interview mode, and it's okay to overhire because you just never know.
Yeah.
You never know when you're going to get a fluctuation of new students. You never know when somebody going to quit. Anything can happen.
Right.
Somebody had to move out of state. Somebody's husband got a new job, and now they can't work there anymore. They don't have reliable transportation anymore. Like, it's so many things that can happen because life is still life.
Yeah.
But to make sure that your foundation is not shaken up so much, always stay in interview mode, even though it is difficult, these days to try to hire in childcare, because we have the same issues that any other company has when it comes down to hiring quality teachers. They're far few in between.
Yeah.
But keep the ones that you have and just try to add slowly but surely. So when it's time for you to enhance, your program or to expand into another location, you have the right people on the team that will allow you to do so. Because I think that for us, for the most part, we have
a good team.
We have a good team at all locations. We have a really, really good team. I think because I'm a good leader. I'm just joking. But because I thank God for you guys every day, because y'all really, 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 really make my job as a leader and also as CEO makes it so much easier. So as other people start to grow, they can say, hey, you know what? If I'm an effective leader and I have the right people on the seat and I create this team to delegate, it's easier for me to expand, whether I'm doing it inside of the program or outside of the program. So what do you feel like are some pros and cons to expanding?
It's always money. Because you have to have money to expand when you're outside. Going back to us talking about, we recycled a lot of stuff. But for someone who can't do that, you have to have that foundation of funds to do it, because it's not cheap. It's not. But the pro is you will get more revenue. You're able to help more families that don't have childcare. You're able to provide jobs to teachers who are out there looking. So there is a happy medium, but you got to decide whether or not you want to weather the storm to make it happen.
And you have to, because I always say, for me, I know my rule of thumb for me to be able to keep my hands on a facility is that I have to be in the facility for the first 30 to 45 days. Yep. The first 30 to 45 days, I have to be in the facility. You have to be in the facility with me so we can set the tone for that new business. So again, the pro is you are expanding.
Yeah.
The con is you just became the it girl for the next 30 to 45 days for that new location. Even with you not, having to be in the location all the time, it allow you to say, oh, you know what, we need to do this. Or you know what, that would be a good idea. Or you know what, let me sit back. And now you can sit back outside of it and say, this works.
Yeah,
this doesn't work. Or I see that you guys struggle with this. Versus, you know what, this one probably dropped the ball. Or, you know what, is this person is sitting in the right seat on the bus because I see that this one is starting might be a little bit better fit for this position. So it just allows you to overall look at the company and figure out what works best for you. So I think that's a pro, is that now you can sit back and say, you know what, I think I like what I see. I think what I see is pretty spot on, or like you said, or just being able to identify the problem. Because if you're in it all the time, it will be more. It will, for you to identify the problem. It will allow it. Most of the time, you have to wait until something bad happens.
Yep. So you can correct it. You're not Miss Cleo. Yeah. You can't predict the future.
Right,
so like in the moment, being in there or saying, hey, you're not the right fit for the toddler class, but I feel like you're much stronger for our pre-K class. You won't know that until you're in the classroom, until they're doing what they have to do, until they're trying to execute the lesson plan and the schedule, till you can realize and say, we might need to have a conference and see, how comfortable that teacher is.
And that is when you step outside of it for you to see it. But if you are like I said, you the owner or CEO, whatever your position is, and you are the bus driver, you are the cook, you are the teacher, you are
cleaning up and everything.
You're the guidance counselor half the time.
Yeah.
You have so much on your plate that you won't be able to really see what's going on. The con of expanding is you're definitely gonna hit your pockets, all right? So you're gonna have to budget well. You're gonna have to stop eating out so much.
And you just have to find different things. Like for us, what we just found that we were shelling out a lot of money on books when we were just like, hey, why don't they just go get a library card? To somebody else, they might think that's just like, y'all trying to be cheap. But when you have children, young children who are learning and exploring books, they rip up. They may last a week, and then that's $5-6 a pop. That adds up. So little stuff can help your bottom line.
Yeah,
but it's definitely expensive.
Very expensive. Like I said, to expand outside of your first location. But all of it honestly is rewarding.
Yeah.
And even though cons do come along the way, I can say it don't last long.
It doesn't.
It does.
But
not
it lets
last
you
long.
grow though. When you have a con, you learn for those experiences. So when you want to go to number 4, 5, 6, 7, you be like, oh, you remember this happened? We're not gonna do that this time. We're gonna try something a little bit different. So
because because I learned a lot from our third location cut my butt. It tore me up.
It hurt my heart.
Our third location really that was my first time ever really doing construction. Like all in construction.
I mean, the whole building was tore apart.
Yes. From the ceiling to the floor.
And we weren't expecting that.
No. First of all, what I wasn't expecting was a dollar amount that almost took us under.
Oh, God.
Because that was a learning experience for me. So that's why I'm not going to tell you no story. I love what I do, and I love helping the top tier clients because I can see the vision and I know where they should not go because I have experienced it. Versus I tell people all the time, like don't tell me. Again, I've always told you that I would never be upset or take anything away from someone that has a degree or has been trained well on certain things. But honestly, it's a lot of things that's not in that textbook or on a test that you cannot tell me unless you have the experience to tell me. You just can't. Because at first I was very shy on, or I want to say just insecure about the fact that I do not have a degree, because a lot of people think I have a degree and I do not. Because I'm so fluent in what I know. And I run circles around people that have degrees. But my experience can tell you something that no one else can.
Just like simple as the sign at West Columbia, our experience is make sure we check the regs versus spending money to put a sign up and now they're going to cite us because we don't have the right sign.
Right.
You can go and tell our top tier clients, hold on, let's wait a minute before we rush and just go to Vistaprint and think we're going to stick this sign up on the building. We have to check regs. So that experience
allow us to know what's next, especially when it comes down to construction. Because, now that we are building us a brand new building, now I'm more fluent in the cost. I'm more fluent in different engineers and architects that I need. I'm more fluent in plots of on land. But if someone was to come to me prior to us going through the cons, then I can't speak to you on what land to get.
Yeah, to build from the ground up.
Or even I have learned about wetlands. I ain't know nothing about no wetland before I purchased land. I don't know what that is. Like, give me commercial or residential. That's all I know. But now I know, so I'm able to speak to them and say, hey, listen, that's not it. That area is not it. That land is not it. Or hey, listen, this is a really, really good property. It's for a good price. I'm able to really tap into a lot of things outside of the childcare room to make it come together. Because now I can tell you about architectural plans. I can tell you about plumbing and electrical. I can tell you.
Yeah, you can tell them, that we stumbled up on that property we were about to purchase, that you can't just knock down graves and think you're going to put a building on top of it.
Even though somebody did knock down the graves.
A whole bunch of them.
But, that was something that, and the price was right, but did not know at the time. I mean, a lot of people may think I'm crazy, but I thought people built on top of graves all the time. I didn't know. I didn't know that was something that you just could not do.
You can't just buy the land and decide to.
Right, you just can't do what you want to do to certain lands. But again, the cons for me was almost going belly up on that third location because I spent thousands of dollars that I was not expecting to spend. I knew what a good contractor was. I knew who, and don't get me wrong, I got scammed too. Yeah. I got scammed a lot. Didn't even know scammers existed. I guess because I don't scam nobody, so I just wasn't fluent in that. So it's a lot of things. A lot of people walked away with a lot of money without doing the job, unnecessary money. But like I said, now even though that was a con for me, and I was just like, God, why? Like, why am I going through all this for this? This is our third location. Why am I going through all of this? Why are we spending so much money? Why do I feel like the business is going belly up? Because I wanted to make an investment that I wish I checked with you first, Lord, before I make the decision. But I was not expecting so much of the cons when it came down to expanding. But now, we're on the flip side of it. You know, we was able to surpass that third location. Now we on to the fourth location. Now we're building, and now I'm able to, like I said, speak to other people. So the storm don't last always.
It doesn't.
But just take it as a lesson, learn from it, and move on from it. So because life is life, and even in construction, I learned too. Even though I may say, "Hey, I want to sink right here," and my first quote may be $4,000, but if it's something that was going on with the plumbing or the foundation of the building, or somebody came, like just for our third location, you know, we had took up the floor. We went through the concrete floor twice.
Yes, we did.
And I was like, but we did what we were supposed to do. But now we know, hey, you got to check with this person and this person before you pour your concrete back.
Pour your concrete back.
Because that is something that can cost you money along the way. But the storm didn't last. We was able to, you know, like I said, not even thinking that we would be able to build a new location, a brand new facility. And now I know, hey, listen, we're not going to do this. We're going to put this over here. All because I learned that I learned a few things from that location. But because I learned all those things from that third location that I thought was going to take me out. It didn't take me out. We still standing. We was able to move on. You know, like I said, open a new location. But just always remember that the storm does not last.
Nope.
Just learn from it and know what not to do the next time.
Yep.
Well, all righty. Until next time. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Top Tier Childcare Podcast. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And if you have any questions, you may email us at info@btoptier.org.